The following is an editorial comment. Here is WUTR Vice President Paul R. Kennedy.
Good evening. Coming up next, WUTR will broadcast Behind the Badge 2, The Best Evidence. It is not our intent to pass judgment in regard to any of the individuals or events you're about to witness. Our primary focus is on the availability and ultimate effect of drugs on the children in our community and the largely thankless job of those in law enforcement who put their lives on the line daily in an effort to control these and other ongoing problems. We invite you to watch and form your own opinion.
The following is a special presentation from WUTR TV, brought to you by A.G. Edwards & Sons and your local Olds Quality Team dealer.
The military uses the cloak of darkness to sneak upon the enemy, to get into a better position to carry out a threat, whatever that threat might be. And just like the military, the criminal element in our society also uses darkness, but for very different reasons. Rape, robbery, larceny, burglary, and sometimes murder. All of these elements have one thing in common: a failing economy and the sale and use of illicit drugs in our nation. Whether we like it or not, the rise in crime nationwide and here in Utica is largely due to the supply and demand of illegal drugs. In bigger cities like New York, people are dying over turf battles. Thus, upstate cities like Utica are feeling the effects of illegal use of drugs and the distribution of drugs. They come to Utica because it's an open market. There are no big wars to be fought in the city. It's just business as usual. In tonight's program, we're going to devote a section of it to the drug problems in Utica. We're going to take you out with members of the Special Investigations Unit as they raid potential crack houses. We'll also introduce you to a fairly new program in Utica City schools. It's called DARE and is operated by the Utica Police Department. Its goal, to teach youngsters the dangers of alcohol and drugs. Also tonight, go on patrol with UPD's Tactical Squad, a uniformed group of police officers assigned to the high crime areas of the city. They're usually the first to arrive at the scene. Witness firsthand as they deal with a criminal element, an element sometimes under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and witness the danger that lurks not far from your neighborhood and what's being done to stop it. And now, Behind the Badge 2, The Best Evidence.
You had the two robberies over the weekend. They're still outstanding? He's still outstanding?
Just one.
Just
one.
Just
one.
one.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. They got the one. Does he match the description of the
No.
taxi?
No, Tony Smith?
No, taxi. No, the one from.
Yeah.
This is expected to be a busy night for patrol units. The Tactical Squad is gearing up with a quick briefing on some of the events in recent days. There have been numerous robberies targeted corner convenience stores. There is also information on new crack houses opening up for business. The Tactical Unit is flexible. These officers can concentrate on some of the trouble spots around the city, in addition to patrol units already in operation. The TAC unit is headed by Sergeant Terry Carone. Carone is known to be tough when he has to, but also allows his officers the time to follow up on leads and work the contacts on the street.
He's got cuts on his cheeks.
Recent?
The cuts look recent. The scar is not as recent.
Right.
But it's not a very old scar.
He's got cuts on his cheek, too?
He's light-skinned.
Information learned today can always be useful tomorrow. And because of that, the TAC Squad makes a lot of arrests and also helps out other squads like narcotics develop information, perhaps a big drug deal or the whereabouts of a known dealer. Team effort is essential in producing arrests and keeping crime to a minimum.
Park my car where it belongs.
Right. We're not going to park it. You can't drive your car. You can't drive your car. You've been drinking.
I want all the...
Tomorrow morning when you sober up...
I want my car parked where it belongs.
Almost immediately, we're dispatched to the scene of a disorderly group. Neighbors in the area say they cannot sleep because of shouting and loud noise. After arriving, we learn that a highly intoxicated woman is trying to drive her car home, but a friend has taken the plug wires out of the engine so she cannot drive.
We'll keep an eye on it before you go. What if we tell you we'll keep an eye on it?
No.
Drive your car when you're sober.
I won't do it.
You won't do that.
I gotta be gone before that alcoholic someone's gonna wake up.
Why don't you go to your apartment, and when tomorrow morning, if you have a problem getting the wires, you call us.
I gotta be in Middleville before 8 o'clock in the morning. Do you know where Middleville is? Do you know how far of a drive that is?
About half an hour.
I got a grandmother with Alzheimer's. I have to be there at 8. This motherfucker it enables my car to go anywhere. And if I'm not down there by that time, and this fucking asshole is gonna wake up there.
Right. First off, you're gonna have to keep them out down, okay? There are people here, and they don't want to hear that.
Wake up
Right. If for some strange reason they're not up, then you call the police department and we'll have somebody down there or have a mechanic down there to make sure it's done.
He's not gonna wake up.
You can't drive it. You've been drinking.
I'm not asking to drive it. I want to make sure it runs so I can be where I gotta be.
It got here, didn't it? It ran when it was here.
You fucked it all up, so...
You're going to probably have to leave and go back to your apartment and take this up tomorrow morning, okay? There's no reason why we've got to stay around here and talk about this all night. Took the wires out of this car. Okay, you promise that there's not going to have anything happen to this car overnight? Huh? What's your name, Ralph? Who, me? Yeah. I just want to make sure that she thinks that possibly might be a problem.
Right here! It's 21! This is what this guy really, truly wants. He wants to see me. Lock me up.
This is all too much energy.
Lock me up. No, lock me up.
All right, hold on to your car and it's going to be
No, you want to lock me up, lock me up. Lock me up.
We want you to go to bed.
Listen, wouldn't you rather have a nice rest, nice sleep? It'd be a lot better than a jail cell now.
Are you going to leave? Are you going to leave? No, he never said that.
I'm not going to lock me up.
Are you going to go?
This is what this bastard wants.
Are you going to leave? I'm going to give you an opportunity to leave right now. You
I'm not going to leave without my car.
You can't take your car. You better take it.
I'm not asking to take my car myself.
All right.
I'm not leaving without my car.
Well, you're going to
My car's going to be parked where I want it to.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You're going to either go back to your apartment on foot or you're going to come with us if you continue on, okay?
Lock me up.
The woman decides she's going to push the officers to see how far they'll go. And now the only place she's going is to jail.
I'm not going to drive it. I'm just saying I'm not going to go unless it's parked where it belongs.
Are you going to leave? Are you going to go? Huh? You want to go to jail, spend the night in jail? I thought you had a place to go tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
I do.
Okay, do you want to spend the night in jail?
This guy prefers me in jail, so...
You got two options right now. Go home and pick up the car tomorrow. You're going to go to jail. Oh, done. Very soon.
I hope he's happy.
You're going to play around with that.
After the cuffs are placed on her, she suddenly wants to negotiate and is willing to go home. But in this case, it's too little, too late.
Basically what happens is they realize that there's no longer a negotiation period, and that you are going to be going to jail. And that's basically when they mellow out and start to say, well, it's time for me to negotiate with you. I will leave, I will do what you asked. So that's basically where we're at. But she's going to be under arrest for disorderly conduct, and we'll have her off the street for tonight, and we're not fearful of her driving. When we got there, as you've seen, she was adamant, and at one point we had to just, say this is not going to work, and if you're not going to be compliant and leave and walk on your own, then you're going to have to come with us.
Meanwhile, Sergeant Carone finds himself just a couple of blocks away from an assault call. While he wasn't dispatched, he takes the call anyway, since he's so close. We're the first to arrive at the scene. Immediately, Carone calls for Rescue 1 after finding out that the woman has been struck on the head with some type of object. This man tells police that the victim was fighting with his girlfriend who lives next door.
I'm the only one gave her somewhere to live. Okay, right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm not under arrest. You can't arrest me for no reason. You can't arrest me for no reason. How you gonna arrest me? What's the charges? Did she press charges?
Back off.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Did she press charges, Ron?
Cheryl, the best thing for you to do is just chill out and let them take you downtown.
No, she didn't press charges.
Yes, she did, Cheryl.
I want to see the charges.
She pressed
I want
it.
to
You
see the
just chill
charges.
out. You just
I
chill
want
out.
to see the charges.
You're not making the situation
I want to see
no
the
damn
charges.
better.
I want to see the charges. I want to see the charges. What the charges? Why they not told me the charges?
Cheryl, I know what's going on. I'm not going to sit and let them arrest you for nothing. I
What
try
are
to tell you
charges?
to chill out.
What are charges?
She's pressing them against you. I try to tell you that.
What are charges? What are charges? What are charges? What are charges?
Assault.
That's the charge. Get my fucking face.
All right.
What are charges? My ass. What you gonna do? Beat the shit out of me?
Watch your head.
You gonna kill me like the rest of them?
we're not gonna-
I already went to the mayor. That's what you gonna do?
Watch your head.
Because of my kids, you gonna beat the shit out of me? Well, I'll get in for you. I won't get in for him. Get the off me, all
Get
right?
in then.
That's police reality. You see that, right? Police reality, right? Get the off me.
Get in now.
Get the off me.
He's off you.
I went to the mayor already. Get the off me.
He's off you.
I know what it is. Okay, I'll go for you. I'll go for you.
Thank you.
Well, what you have here is you have two parties that lived together and had a squabble. Turned out to be got violent. The one woman was assaulted by the girl who owns the apartment. At this time, we're not sure how severe her injuries are. We're treating it as an assault third right now. And once she gets to the hospital, if they find the injuries severe enough, they will go probably to an assault second if need be. The black gentleman that we were talking to was the boyfriend of the party that was arrested. And he was concerned because there is a small child in the apartment. And he was wondering whether the party that was arrested would be released tonight.
What about your daughter?
That's my house.
But regardless of your house.
She don't bogart in my
but
house.
what about?
She was in my house.
Okay, but what
She was
about?
in my
But
house.
what about your daughter?
What that got to do with
That
it?
got a lot to do with it. If you keep hitting
She was in my
but
house.
you're not listening to what I'm
I got
saying.
scars to prove
Listen
it.
to what I'm saying. Okay?
Keep it there.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Keep the camera right
You
there,
have
sir.
a right to do what you want to do, but you still got to think about your child.
But
You
she
understand?
should've got
By
out
you
my house.
mouthing off the way you do it now, it's not going to
She
make you
shouldn't have bogart me in my house.
It looked like that she was hit over the head with a pipe, piece of chrome pipe that we found on the ground. Was subsequently taken into custody for evidence. He was going to be placed on the property. At this time, we're not sure how severe her injuries are. We're treating it as an assault third right now. And once she gets to the hospital, if they find the injuries severe enough, they will go probably to an assault second if need be.
Meanwhile, in the city's Cornhill section, other TAC Squad units are backing up a patrol unit at a known crack house. Thanks to the sharp eye of a patrolman cruising the area, a drug buy was witnessed inside the house. The house is secured and the suspects are placed on the floor while a search is done of the living quarters. The police give the suspects a chance to produce any other drugs that might be in the house. They're not forthcoming with that information.
You got anything I should know about in here before I find it? You sure?
Yeah, right.
One of the suspects is taken into another room alone and questioned again. This is his last chance to come clean.
Me or you just?
I just don't know. I just came and sat down. I was having a cigarette when
You
you
just got
got
down here. You just got down here.
Yes.
You came down with one of the vehicles outside?
No, I walked.
You walked down here. Were you down here to make a buy?
No.
Who do you know here?
I know Christie that owns the house. She was over there.
So you don't know anybody there that's ever purchased drugs before? You don't know where they've gone to get it?
With Massachusetts plates.
You don't care about giving yourself an opportunity to walk out of here then, is that it? Is that right?
I don't know anything. I just came here and sat down and waited for Christie to come
I'm
home.
telling you something. What you're not doing is not answering my questions. I'm giving you a chance to tell me if there's something here that you know about.
I don't know if there's
All right,
anything.
then go back down there. When we find it, you'll go to jail. Very simple, that's all. Okay. Okay.
Further questioning of the suspect is futile. Police are left with the task of finding the drugs, and it doesn't take long.
And the Sheriff's Department also has units en route 114.
Crack is found along with bullets. One of the dangers of going into a house is not knowing what lurks around the corner.
Preservation. Keep your property under wraps. Right underneath their bed, not yourself.
The knife will also be taken in as evidence. In most cases, crack houses serve one purpose, a place to buy and sell. Usually, the surroundings are deplorable. The upstairs is not even fit for a rodent to live.
And how people ingest stuff into their body and here, I mean, the conditions are substandard.
But they don't seem to care.
Nah, they don't care.
Stand by for emergency traffic.
And then they'll come all the way from Rome, come here. And they said, geez, we don't know, we just stopped here.
This is like one in several crack houses that are set up around the city.
They're like haphazard. They use them to smoke by, they're like vacant second floors.
What do they do, like rent out the building and the landlords don't care?
No.
Just doesn't matter?
Nope. It's just basic.
Since none of the suspects wanted to disclose any information, they're all taken into custody for questioning downtown.
You want him covered? I got all covered now.
Anything that's in the car is his. Because I checked my car.
The police will weigh the drugs and see if there's enough here for a felony charge. Outside, the girlfriend of one of the suspects is reprimanded by police. As luck would have it, she was in her car during the incident. Maybe next time she won't be as lucky.
Buy it here. Well, if he has bail tonight, we don't know. He may have a felony way down. There's no bail till Monday morning. Okay? So if you want to come down and check, that's fine. Okay? You have permission to search your car or anything? I appreciate it next time. Don't come to our city to buy crack, go buy. You're not sitting in a position to tell me that, okay? Because all the evidence is showing that you both buy crack, okay? Have a nice night.
In the November 1991 issue of Kiplinger's Personal Finance magazine, A.G. Edwards was the only investment firm in the country to earn a 5-star rating. It could be said that A.G. Edwards' clients have been benefiting from 5-star service ever since our founding over 104 years ago. If you're not completely satisfied with CD and investment returns, call A.G. Edwards and see if a 5-star firm can help you.
A.G. Edwards & Sons, 1508 Genesee Street, Utica. Member SIPC.
I'm Jack Fink from Eyewitness News. Do you have to get up early in the morning? If so, we've got a way to help you get going. AM Mohawk Valley, every weekday morning at 6:45, will tell you what you can expect weather-wise even before you get dressed. We'll also tell you about all the morning's top local news stories and sports highlights from Rob King and some interesting tidbits to begin your day. Join me for AM Mohawk Valley, 6:45 a.m. weekdays right after ABC's World News This Morning. See you in the AM.
Every second that goes by, you're giving them an opportunity to think. And they're thinking, this is real for them. They don't know what they're going to do. And they'll tell you over and over again, they do what you allow them to do. You give them the opportunity. How do you control? We teach you safety because through control. The more you can control a situation, the safer you're going to be. Well, how do you control someone who's 50 feet away from you? Your options are very limited. Sound, voice, PA system, red lights, spotlights, siren, use your vehicle to position. Then after that, a lot started too. All right, let's get back to whatever happened. I mean, I don't understand why you drove away.
On the back roads of Oneida County, new police recruits are put through scenarios that they will encounter sometime during their law enforcement career. Sergeant Al Candido heads up the Utica Police Department Special Services Division. Today, a new batch of recruits are practicing felony stops for the first time. After 23 weeks of classroom instruction, it's time to see what they're made of. And more importantly, instructors get to watch their reaction in sometimes very difficult circumstances. If mistakes are to be made, it has to be here in training, because a mistake in real life could spell disaster.
And you're going to have to split up. It can't be 2-on-1 anymore. How do you know what's in there? Okay? You don't know what's in that. That's an unknown. But once I'm out, you know where I am. You know where my hands are. You know where his hands are. Always watch the hands, right?
We build into the curriculum of every school we call field practical exercises. And this is where the recruits get an opportunity to practice or perform, actually, of all the techniques that they've learned and all the various individual lessons that have been given to them over a long period of time. This combines their knowledge of the law, their knowledge of the use of force, deadly physical force, their driving, the positioning of an automobile, the actual approaching, how to work it as a team, so to speak, and naturally firearms in situations of shoot, don't shoot, and the reaction time, etc. And this puts it all together in one day, and it's probably one of the most beneficial training sessions that they're going to receive. And this is where they walk away from this with some deep realizations, and you can see it on their faces tonight when we leave. There's a sense that they actually realized tonight what it's all about.
Put your hands on the dash.
The unmarked car contains 2 Utica police officers. For today's exercise, they're playing the bad guys. The recruits are only given limited information for this felony stop. Shots have been fired. An armed robbery has occurred less than a minute ago. And now they come up behind the suspect car. And from here on in, it's all up to the recruits.
Do not move in the vehicle. Keep your hands on the dash. You in the red shirt, walk back towards me real slow. Walk towards my voice. Stop. Stop. Get down on your left knee. Get down on your right knee. Passenger, keep your hands on the dash. Lay down on your front. Walk your hands forward. Keep your hands in front of you at all times. Lay down.
One of the recruits successfully handcuffs the driver of the car, but the second suspect remaining inside the vehicle is not being watched carefully.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Put your left hand in the small of your back. Left hand. Put your other hand down. Do not move. Watch it, Grace. Put your left hand in the small of your back.
So the suspect fires a shot out the window. The recruit would be dead under real-life circumstances.
Great, big fucking arms.
Put the gun down!
You might as well not. No, you're dead. You're dead. I know. She was supposed to go.
It's created to be a very hot stop of a vehicle. There's no question about it. They're given the scenario that this is an armed and dangerous automobile that just perpetrated a robbery, and it's been about a minute since the robbery, and they're about 2 blocks from the scene. So there's no question about it. This is not shown to them to be an everyday stop. This is actually staged to be a hot felony stop. In other words, every second, both of them are thinking what they're going to do next, because they don't have a script that they're following. They're just like real people. Real people are trying to think, how can I get out of this? They comply with you because they're hesitating and thinking like the next second you're going to give them an opening. Sure enough, you did. At one point in time, you totally ignored him. And once again, he wants to crawl out of the car. Get him out of the car. I'd rather have him laying on the ground. She can cover him a lot better, can't she? Can't you cover him a lot better if he's on the ground? Can't you cover the people if they're... I'd want to take that car upside down, shake it, get everything out of it. Then I can deal with it. It's all laying out on the roadway. I don't know what's inside that car. You got him, get him out of the car. Break out of that concrete setting that you've got in your mind, all right? Okay. It was good, though. It was good.
In addition to outside practical training, the recruits are also tested on their judgment and reaction time during volatile situations. Today, they're going to try their hands at FATS, or Firearms Training System, a computer-operated program that places recruits in situations they could face in the real world.
And reaction. Additionally, you'll be accountable for the commands you use and must be fully prepared to justify drawing your weapon.
A life-size screen is located at the end of the room. A videotaped image is shown on the screen, complete with audio. The size of the screen gives it a more real feeling. And the weapons used have been modified to transmit a beam of light to the screen in lieu of actual ammunition. The weapons also fire caps to give the recruits a more real-life feeling through hearing the gun go off and the smell of gunpowder.
Okay, good. Action the second time. Okay, remember to wrap that action every time. Get that empty casing out. Just throw it. Okay.
We look for their reaction to the situation itself, their correct use of cover or concealment, their verbalization. In other words, we want them talking to the suspect, telling them what we expect them to do. We are able to determine their proficiency level, and hopefully it will be acceptable by this point in time.
If this particular situation was responding to a bank alarm or something like that with a partner, right, and only your partner was going in, you would take them a position of cover, maybe behind a wall or the corner of a building, something that would afford some safety to you.
Lieutenant John Allen of the Oneida County Sheriff's Department is instructing today's class. Keep in mind that the recruits have been practicing weapons training on targets prior to encountering today's FAT system, but they have not been tested on judgment in either shoot or no-shoot situations. The first recruit begins his training on the FAT system. He doesn't know what the scenario will be, but he must garner his knowledge up to this point and make the right decision.
All right, and you're going to respond accordingly. Now, you didn't draw your gun. Apparently, you didn't feel the need. Why?
Just hit the club.
You just had the club, and what do you have to your advantage?
My baton.
Your baton and what? Distance. You have distance. He's not a threat, as it appears right now. He's quite a distance from you. You position yourself properly. You talked to him. You told him to put the club down. He wouldn't relinquish control of the weapon. If he was to charge you at some point, could this be a shooting situation? Sure. Yes, it could. Okay, good job. Back on the ice.
During the next scenario, it gets a little more complicated. What seems like a routine traffic stop suddenly turns ugly.
What do you see in this particular picture there that should have keyed you into a threat? A shotgun. A shotgun. At what point did you see that shotgun? First thing. First thing? Okay, you reached back at one point when she reached for her driver's license and unsnapped your gun. How come you didn't draw that?
I didn't necessarily try that time.
Okay, and you didn't say anything to her either, like don't move, stay away from the shotgun, put your hands on the windshield, put your hands on the steering wheel. You need to take control of the situation. She should respond accordingly. Obviously not here because it's film, but you want to tell her what you expect her to do. Normally women don't drive around dressed in blue jeans and a sweater like that with a short-barreled shotgun leaning against the passenger side of the vehicle. When she reached for her driver's license, the shotgun actually moved. As it turned out, she gave you the license, turned back, grabbed the handgun when you come around. You hung in the holster just a little bit. That's why we emphasize the draw on the range as being slow and important. All right, you were already unsnapped with your hand on the gun, but just in that little amount of time, you couldn't get your gun out in the amount of time it took her to fire the round at you.
This sophisticated piece of equipment comes with a price tag of $50,000. It's operated by the Oneida County Sheriff's Department, but is used by countywide law enforcement agencies. The recruits immediately gain a new respect for the FAT system.
After the fact, you realize that it is a very valuable tool in law enforcement training. It's worth the money and worth the time.
This invaluable experience will better prepare them for the dangers that come along with being a police officer.
Most shooting situations happen in seconds, and this gives them a real good understanding that they don't have a lot of time. We train them as to what things they should be keying in on that would advise them that a threat is impending here. They need to start making some sort of overt action. There's a very good chance that they'll be involved in a situation that will at least require them to make a decision whether or not deadly force is necessary.
Cycle that action after you fire the shot to make yourself ready.